What do you get when you ask a politician to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You're going to get 3 different answers. Last week, the deputy governor of Siaya County survived the impeachment because he had spent 1.1 Kenya shillings on a chair for his office. That's the equivalent of $10,000. Yet, members of Siaya County are wallowing in poverty. His hospitals do not have supplies. The doctors are not getting paid. Everything is falling apart at the seams. Yet that man was able to convince a group of senators to keep him in office. Let's go across the border. In Uganda, I had a parliamentarian some time back, I think it was about 2 or 3 months before, who was looking at the president's budget, and he was saying that the president and his family spend 500 million Uganda shillings a year on electricity bills. That is at par with some of the top-notch factories in his country. You wonder, what are they making in that status? Then let's go down under to Mzansi, South Africa, my beloved subscribers. In December last year, 2022, December, President Cyril Ramaphosa was found with $520,000 stuck in a sofa in his house. He claims that it was from a deal involving the sale of buffalo from his farm, but yet the same animals were still found there. It was a very fishy explanation, and he faced impeachment for it. But guess what? He survived, and he's still the president of South Africa. So what are these politicians doing right when it comes to persuasion? Please don't get me wrong. I'm not endorsing their thieving ways. They are the reason why Africa is still where it is developmentally. I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying that they can teach us a lesson on communication. They adhered to the principle of persuasion called persuading the persuadable. When you need to convince somebody about something, please don't waste your breath on someone who is not interested in what you are offering. Because time is limited, resources are finite. For these people who are facing, these politicians who are facing impeachment, what they did is they did their homework concerning the interests of the people who had power to impeach them. And they spoke to those interests beforehand. They mobilized and galvanized individuals to their side. So for instance, in our case, Kenya, the deputy governor of Siaya County probably called a couple of senators and said, look here, if you impeach me because of misappropriation of funds, then next time our people will also impeach you because of misappropriation of funds. And because it is a great cancer, corruption, that is pervasive in our country, they realized, well, let's not remove him from office, because it will be a case of the kettle calling the pot calling the kettle black. And that's how he survived. Then for President Ramaphosa in South Africa, he probably told members of the ANC, listen, even you guys are corrupt, and you need to scratch my back so that I can scratch yours, otherwise you won't even have a place in our party. And that is why he is still president today. So we need to borrow a leaf from these politicians. No, don't go stealing things from the public, but use that principle of persuasion. Only focus on the people who need what you are offering, and do your research on what their interests are before you speak to them, such that by the time you start to convince them to give a speech in your defense, you won't even need to do much. You'll just throw that matchstick and you will ignite a fire. But we must remember that politicians and diapers have one thing in common. They need to be changed regularly and for the same reason. Nonetheless, they can teach us a thing or two about communication. See you next time concerning a new topic in this area.